Welcome to the first episode of the Dickin podcast. I am Big Fat Dickie Foster. I am joined today by my guest, Chelsea Snedden.
What's up?
What's up? I'm also joined by, we'll call him an associate producer. That is Jeremy. He is who he is. Anyway.
He's too pretty to know what a Nissan Altima is.
We are hanging out here today in my car apartment. It is just, it's not a gimmick. We are in, I would say, beautiful, sunny South Bend, but we're in the middle of a lightning storm. Sitting. It is. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. It depends what part of South Bend you're in. Some of it's pretty. Some of it is. It's like is this East Gary?
It's just the circle of life here.
Yeah. But we're outside the Rocky Button. We're here tonight for the Drop open mic, and we're just gonna have a friendly chit chat about comedy and stuff. So Chelsea, how long have you been doing this?
In September 6th will be my 4th year doing comedy stand-up.
Nice. So you were here the first night I did comedy, right?
Yeah.
You were actually one of the first people that came up to me after I did my set, and you were like, "You're fucking good," and I was like. So I was like, when I was getting this podcast put together, I was like, I gotta have Chelsea here, and I just felt like it was a good place to start since you were like one of the first comics that came up and talked to me and all that. Do you fucking love this comedy thing?
Yeah,
I fucking love this.
Yeah, I feel like it's why I was put on Earth. Like, it's like I found my thing.
Yes.
And I was really lost before this. I was like, I love all art. I was a musician for years, but I just could never find like my thing. Mm-hmm. This is like my thing.
I really, really feel that when I was getting started, I was pretty dashed on the rocks, and it was just kind of like, fuck it, I'm funnier than these guys on Kill Tony. Some of these guys on Kill Tony,
Interesting. So what do you think it was watching Kill Tony that made you want to get into stand-up?
Yeah, that was kind of like, I saw like Cam Patterson. Mm-hmm. Everybody did on like Reels and stuff and The Rocks and everything. And I was like, this is funny. And then I started, like, eventually I found Kill Tony, and then that turned into like, I was like watching it and listening to it, and then I really started listening to it, like, because when they give good advice, they give great advice. And after, it was probably about a year and a half, 2 years. Hold on just a second. I gotta reset it. This is the fun of my car is smashed on one side, so we're gonna put your hand on it. All right, hold on. It's gonna be drippy for a second before next time we got. This is gonna be fun. But yeah, Kill Tony. And it was just kind of like started listening to their advice, and then I was like, I can probably do this.
Yeah. It's interesting to me because, when I was in middle school, high school, that was when like Bo Burnham was really big.
Okay,
really famous. And then like maybe before Bo Burnham was Dane Cook was everywhere. So I think he was kind of that first comedian to like sell out, sell out stadiums and arenas, like in a way that like at least my generation hadn't seen before. But it's just cool that like the comics coming in now are kind of they're more influenced by podcasts. Versus I was really influenced by Netflix specials. Mm-hmm. The comics before me were all about who was on Comedy Central. So there's these different like big points that comedy can make through the culture. I just think that's interesting.
Yeah. For me, it was HBO specials.
Yeah.
And like, I would watch Comedy Central like religiously every Friday night when I was was a nerdy kid. Like, I didn't have anything else going on. So,
Yeah.
like, catching those 30 minutes that they did all the time, that's, and that's where I first saw Dane Cook myself. And then, like, he was really big there for a minute. And, like, I can't think of, I'm hard pressed to think of, I'm sure somebody will correct me at some point. I'm hard pressed to think of anybody before him that was doing, because like there was like the Blue Collar Comedy Tour and the one with Bernie, the Kings of Comedy. They did like arena tours, but they weren't doing stadiums.
Yeah.
Like, and then Dane Cook showed up and started doing stadiums, and like, I bet that's hell.
I bet it's hell for whoever's got to plan it. Like,
yes.
As someone that am planning my own gigs, and I accidentally plan 2 gigs a weekend apart in 2 different cities, and I'm like trying to make it, like work. I'm sure comedy being at that scale where you're booking like freaking Yankee Stadium or whatever, like that's got to be the most stressful job in the world. I mean, I bet there's a lot of pressure put on Dane to like have his set list done and ready, like down to the word. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I wonder if comics that big use teleprompters. How can you memorize jokes for that long?
I like.
They're not going to open mics and shit though.
Well,
like,
some of them, like nowadays, some of them still do. Like
it's also kind of like theater though. How like actors will literally like, you don't have your scripts during a show. When you're performing an entire show, like even if it's just an entire monologue, like you do go on stage knowing your lines and that like you don't bring your script.
Yeah.
So, and like if you're, I'm sure, like for me, a good thing that in my workplace, it's a little bit easier for me to work on my style of material than most people's workplaces, I'm sure. But like I can do jokes for my coworkers. I oftentimes I run jokes past my therapist a lot. Like
I'm so jealous. I work in corporate, so my version of doing jokes for my coworkers is just whatever Teams message gets the most ha-ha reacts. Like, I am a killer on Teams. I've like gotten 10 ha-ha reacts before, and that's winning.
You're making it happen out there. When I would first start doing jokes, I would like do jokes for people at work, and I knew it was good if I could hear somebody from the next room go, "Oh my god." Did you really do that? Well, like part of it, like a little bit of it is embellishment. Like I did my homeless set a couple weeks ago, and then a comic came up to me afterwards, and he was like, "That's really funny. Is that real?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's 100% real.
I'm homeless.
I am homeless. It is. This is a reality. But like, it's."
Can I push in on your homelessness at all?
Of course.
You're like, yeah. What decisions you think you made? God, this is so mean, but like, what do you think? Was there like one big thing that led to it, or you think it was like 10, 20 small decisions?
It
that
led
to it.
It took a team of people working around the clock. It was a series of decisions, and I'm really big on so I had like super narcissistic parents, so like I'm already programmed to be like, what did I do? Like, how is this my fault? I did something wrong here. So it's like I've looked at it from a lot of angles, but like it was I quit a job I probably shouldn't have quit, and then my income got cut in half, but I was going crazy. and then
so mental health, you made a choice for mental health over your finances at the time. Okay.
And then that turned into like a whole lot of issues between me and my youngest child's mom, and that culminated with like her flipping out. I won't go into like a whole lot of other details, but like police were involved, and so
the house was challenged for resources. So the fights will kind of start there. And you're home so often. Like when you're working, you're not home half the time.
Well, I was still working. I wasn't working as much. Like I was a manager at the place I had been before. And so I would work like 60 hours a week, sometimes more than that, like several days in a row. And that was getting to be a problem at home too. And then like when the finances got cut, it was just like lots of fights about stuff. And like we both have our mental health issues. And then that whole thing happened. And when that whole thing happened, everything just kind of fell apart from there. But it was just kind of like, one bad decision, and I wouldn't even necessarily say it was a bad decision. It's just, it wasn't something that the other people in my life were like ready to handle, you know, type thing. Yeah. So, but like it's between that, which like got me here, and like my own situation now with things, like I do pay $1,000 a month in child support. That is about 40 to 45% of my income. So like that hit, and so it's like, I can't afford it, and on top of that, the place I had is gone. So like I'm just kind of making the best of it. Protesting NIPSCO.
Oh yeah.
They're not getting any of my money, but BP is getting a lot, unfortunately. So
yeah, I didn't mean to ask that that question to be just like patronizing. I was just more, it's interesting what leads us to. I think we're all so much closer to being homeless than we are billionaires.
Yeah, and
this country just wants to protect rich, people with money in a way that they don't realize you're quitting a job from this. I'm not to say this is a bad thing, but as far as maybe getting a shower or getting what you need to get,
right? Yeah,
tougher.
It is, but it's definitely like.
But it also drove you to comedy too.
Yes,
like the pressure cooker of what you're dealing with in with your children's mothers' lives, with your children's lives, with what's expected of you as a man, and that pressure cooker
it's a lot for. And there's a lot of people, out there that are struggling in similar ways. And if you're struggling, then you should definitely get help. I have a great therapist. I have a lot of people helping me out now, trying to get through all this stuff and all of that. And you do make an excellent point. Like, a lot of this country is a lot closer to this than they realize. Like, you're 2 months away from it. Yeah. Like a job loss and anything else. Nobody's like, some people have savings, and if you do, good for you. But a lot of people do not. And like, it's really like, I'm homeless. Another poverty issue in this country is like people can't afford medicine. I had a friend pass away a couple months ago because he couldn't afford insulin, like, so it's like, I know my situation's bad, but it's not as bad as his situation was. Like I do have a place to poop now and shower, so like that's very important things. That's not it's not fun having to go back to your old gas station in the middle of the night to go poop. Hey. But yeah. So what got, so we talked a little bit, like that led into where I got started with comedy. What got you started?
Yeah, similar pressure cooker. I was in a very long-term relationship. Long for me, I'm a Gemini. A year and a half.
Oh, whatever.
Almost 2 years of my life, I felt I wasted, on this person who, it's just such a buzzword these days to use like narcissist, but like someone who saw how much of a light I am and just sought to drain every bit of it. So I left this relationship feeling like I had no worth. I have red hair, and he's just like, he moved on immediately with another redhead, and I was like, I'm not even unique, like I'm just a porn category, and you can just
box.
You can just move on from being like the love of my life and saying you're gonna like marry me to like just this immediate hatred, and that flip, that devaluation, that kind of narcissists or men like that in the end flip on you it was just really devastating to me at the time. I was kind of became this broken record to all my friends, like, oh, blah blah blah, this guy did me so wrong. My friends were just tired of hearing it, so they're just like, you need to go like talk about this. And I think like, not to say stand up is therapy, but like stand up helped me more than therapy ever really could. It gave me an art outlet to like talk about that, and in a way that I could take the power back. Like with stand up, you just get in front of it. You're like, hey, this bad thing happened to me, and it's like everyone's laughing, but they're laughing with you. They're like, that shit sucks. Like I hear Dickie's set about being homeless, and I just go, that shit sucks. Like $1,000 in child support, but I got fucked by the government similarly. I had to take out student loans, so before I refinanced, I was paying $1,000 a month to something I couldn't control at the time.
That's I kind of I actually was one of the lucky few who got some student loan forgiveness during that like 4-hour portal that you could sign up a couple years ago, because I went to barber school and I didn't finish because the pandemic happened. They were like, forgiven, and we'll forgive you, University of Phoenix, because I watched a lot of Maury, and they were like, business school, and I was like, yeah. But no, I feel you. It is. First of all, dudes suck. I'm working on a bit where I'm talking about dudes sucking. Not in the normal way that I do those bits, but like that's nonsense. Yes, it is not the normal. I'm trying to deviate because I had to talk with I have family like in Valpo that like if you walk into old buildings, their names are on the charter for the building type shit. And don't huff ever, kids. But not even once. But like they have like buildings and bridges named after them, and I was talking to somebody from that side of my family, and she was like, your set's a little too R-rated for me, and I was like, yeah, I could see that. It's not
for you.
It's not for you, it is for me, but I'm like, I need to write about some, my name already is a penis joke. Do I need half of my set to be also? Maybe my first, if it works,
while
it works.
You're learning what's funny, while you're learning what a crowd likes,
everybody loves a dick joke.
Everybody loves a dick joke. Everyone, like, we are so Freudian humans. We like sex. We like hearing about people we're curious about having sex. It's like, damn, Dickie can have sex?
Yeah. Dickie has sex? Yes.
Dickie has sex?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Jeremy from the back. What's fun? Jeremy, let's pull the curtain back a little bit. Jeremy and I used to be in a triad. In fact, Jeremy, the portrait that you did is up there in the back window. I got Jeremy painted me this portrait.
Instagram, very cool.
Jesus.
This was. Listen, kids, polyamory is not just cheesecake and tag team blowjobs. There's a lot of communication, and people have to be okay
cheesecake and tag team blowjobs.
See, I just think it's funny that we're not together anymore, and I'm still friends with you. And not her.
That's kind of. I don't want to. I'm not just gonna make. That's how it works out with my non-psychotic former partners. I have another very good friend, shout out Amanda, that we were partners briefly, and she was like, "You got a lot going on, but I will be your friend." And I was fine with that because that's okay. Like,
that's really healthy.
Rejection. It's not as easy for other people as it is for me, and I recognize that. Like, I got a whole bunch of rejection from my dad growing up, so like, it's like that desensitization therapy. It's like I had rejection dysphoria when I was 5. By the time I was 14, I was over.
I wish I have intense, like I'm my dad's favorite daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as at home, my siblings have a lot of like, fuck Chelsea, she's everyone, and then the teachers love me. So my brother was always Chelsea's brother growing up. I feel bad. No. Like, I have that golden child, like, authority figures love me. Like, I got pulled over when I came home from the drop 2 weeks ago, and I talked my way out of the freaking ticket. Like,
oh.
Some people get that favoritism in life. Some people don't. Like, that does shape you. I am very, like, rejection sensitive even now. Like, I will reject myself first so that I don't have to deal with the rejection.
Yeah, that is part of it. Like, I feel like so, in my homeless bit, the Uncle Ruckus joke, I'm the Uncle Ruckus of homeless people. I cut that before I went up and performed it. I was like, I can't do that. That's not going to be funny. No one's going to laugh at it. And it's the part that everybody here laughs at the hardest. And like, I'm very good at being very critical to myself and like doing that like beforehand rejection thing. Just because like if you get rejected a lot, you kind of get used to it. And you, like, the unfortunate part about it is sometimes you'll talk yourself out of things that are actually better things. It's like, I mean, you should have just fucking jumped and did it, but, that's just fire truck. This is a fun.
Well, that's like why they say curiosity killed the cat, but truth set it free.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can leave, a situation that was maybe good for you, and there was maybe a boyfriend or two before that relationship that really, like, I kind of call it maybe a financially abusive relationship, but I think there was a boyfriend or two before that I could have definitely settled down with, and I chose to kind of just still mess around, So on the one hand, I'm like, oh, I fucking did that to myself. I decided to leave a good situation for, a bad boy, a car guy, like whatever that is.
Something fun.
Something dangerous, exciting, different.
Security isn't everything, you know. Yes, that. I feel like that's a lot of my appeal. Is
the dangerous choice.
The dangerous choice. So it's just like, listen, you are in for it, honey. Like, I hope if you take meds, you are taking them, because we are gonna
double up, sweetie.
Like, I want you to go, if you have any issues, I want you to go talk to your psych nurse right now. Like, I will drive you to Porter Stark. Oh man. Yeah, that's, I dated somebody one time that it was like, it was a safe relationship, and I should have just stayed with her, but I could not at the time. Like, I was just absolutely incapable of, like,
your frontal lobe doesn't fucking finish cooking by 25 to 28.
Oh, I was older than that.
Oh.
I was.
Dickin's had a lot of time to simmer.
I have. How old are you?
I am 30.
You are 30? Okay, so I'm 38. So it was when it's been 10 years actually. 10 years ago my mom passed away, and she was 56 and I was 28, and I was like, oh fuck.
28 is actually, sorry, gonna be a little astrology bitch, but 28 is supposed to be your Saturn return. Mm-hmm. So 28 to 30 is kind of that first test of adulthood without your parents there. So,
yeah, that was
I had, I just finished my Saturn return, and I feel, I feel older, I feel more weighed down, but also more grounded in this earth. Like, my Saturn return was all about just career, and I had a boss that left a job I loved, was there for 4 years, and him leaving meant this idiot was in charge, this idiot who I frankly didn't work well with, and he was now my boss. So I had to kind of go through, like, what is authority and what is going off to. I ended up leaving Indy because of it, to come move up here. That's how I met Dickie and started going to the job. So it's just dealing with a really bad boss situation. You don't, obviously, like, what, a rough career situation is like. And, I decided not to be without a job. I will jump from job to job. So I went from bad boss to job up here, but it was in person and in a plastic factory. And I was sick all winter because there's fucking plastic in my lungs. And just now got through it, where now I work from home again. I'm in a great job for me. I'm a senior analyst, and I'm like, I'm in a great, I'm not to sit here and brag in your car,
no,
but
it's okay.
Just I'm in a good place now, and that tumultuous time of 28, like, versus what do you think with, like, losing your mom, maybe what you learned at that time?
Well, so
was that when you became a parent?
No, I became my youngest, or my oldest. My oldest is actually just about to graduate high school. She's going to graduate high school. She's going to Purdue for nursing next year. Yeah, no, I was very big on, look at how daddy lives, baby. Go to school, don't huff, go to school, as long as you do that, you'll be fine. So I had been with my ex-wife at that point. We got together when I was like 20.
Okay, wow.
And she was 19, and she got pregnant like 4 weeks into our relationship.
Wow.
Yeah, I make wonderful choices. Lily, my daughter is absolutely one of the best.
You spawned a nurse. Yeah. That's cool as shit.
Yeah, she is cool as fuck. She's very talented musically. She's funny. But so,
she's so kind with a big heart.
Yeah. But so it had been, we'd been together like 8 or 9 years at that point, I think. And she had, my ex-wife had a pill problem, and it's not slander for me to say that. There's court records. But she had her problem, and then my mom died, and after my mom died, I was just kind of sitting there like, if I'm halfway there, 28 to 56, if I'm halfway there, and I'm going to just drop dead 28 more years, am I where I want to be? Am I who I want to, am I with who I want to be with? Am I working the job I want to work? Is anything what I want it to be in my life? And it was pretty much no, like, to everything. The only thing that, like, brought me any joy was my kids, and I felt like I needed to go out and do better for them. So what I did, mom died in August, right before Christmas that year. My friend who lived in Colorado reached out and was like, I get you a job out here. It'll be like, he told me it would be like $35,000 or $40,000 a year, and at the time I was busting tires for like $10 an hour. So, like, I was like, hell yeah, sign me up. But the job was to go out and work in the marijuana industry, and so I took our tax return, a lot of our tax return, and that year and went. And the plan was go out there, get settled, and bring my kids out there, because I didn't tell her that the plan wasn't for her to come before I left, but the plan was kind of always, this is the end of me and her. And it was a magical adventure, but it was just this cataclysmic event, because that was, Dad wasn't there, Mom was. Mom wasn't perfect, but she did the best that she could, and she was the only person I could really depend on for anything. So losing her, I was like, I'm going to have to depend on myself. I've got to bet on myself. I'm going to take this risk and go out there. And it was really, really awesome. And everything was going amazing. And I was making a ton of money. And then my ex-wife got arrested. And when she got arrested, CPS took our only kids, my oldest two, her only kids, and took them to foster care. Wouldn't let me take the girls back to Colorado with me, and so I had to move back and go back to the tire place and all of that stuff. But I've been back since 2018, and just then we got divorced, and just a whole
Indiana tends to suck you back.
Yeah. I've left a few times. I left for Tennessee twice. I left for Texas once. You have to get away.
I feel that, but it's interesting because when I first moved up here, I kind of hated how small and how kind of far apart all the comedy is. But in Indy, because I had an open mic a night, I mean, I would still go 3 nights a week, even if I couldn't do 2 nights, but I just knew all my friends were there, or what I thought to be my friends, but like with comedy, you kind of got to learn that like not every comedian's your friend.
Yeah.
Like, we are coworkers at the end of the day. It's like, I feel how I feel about certain comedians in there even, but I'm still going to be booked with them on a show with Heather. Like, I still, like, they're my coworkers. So learning that and like kind of just having either 1 open mic a week with the drop or 2 with Cam's mic, like just kind of taught me to like be like arm's length away from comedy, which is like letting me write more, not being weighed down by drama. So I'm like, I first moved here, I hated how spread apart the comedy was, but now I kind of love it. I'm thinking about staying, if you didn't know, but just like it's a way better for me vibe right now.
I feel like the vibe in this club and in Cam's club too, but here at the drop there is like an overwhelmingly positive vibe. I can tell when people don't like me, for sure, but like I was worried going into comedy because I had heard, I listened to podcasts and stuff, and they talk about, the thing is it's like, we are coworkers, but we're not just coworkers. We're like coworkers at a car dealership where like most of the money we make is based on how well we perform, so like there is like a competition to it to get out there and like and I feel starved for time sometimes. Like I understand, like I like having time to work on stuff in between the mics, but also I write so much that like the mic got canceled last week. I kept writing, and what I'm going to do tonight isn't even what I wrote last week. That set, I did part of it at Cam's show, and then worked some other stuff in there. But like I really like I kind of want to be in one of those environments where there are mics every night, or maybe not every night, but if there was like,
with how mobile you are, it would be a great situation. Yeah. For you. But I'm saying like I'm someone who's very rejection sensitive, and maybe that you're a little bit past that. Like if you're fine with like, think of all the people that hate you here, but times it by 8, that's how many people hate me in Indianapolis. Like that I have not done anything to, that I have not like personally crossed. Like they feel that way because I work really hard at this and I try to get booked. So like you said, like there's a competition to it. So the fact that I can win at it, the fact that I can still remain booked 4 years in, where I'm like saying no to gigs because I'm kind of trying to take May a little bit to myself. I just have 1 show on the 9th, and then I'm not really like booking May because I'm like, that's my birthday month.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a little birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm a little birthday girl.
I'm gonna sing to you. Have any of the other comics I've sang to told you about that?
No.
I send people a video of me singing them happy birthday
yes.
for their birthday.
Yes.
If they're
Every
cool
single year, by the
people,
way.
if you're like, I ain't never got one.
Sorry.
Yeah, but but yeah, I like birthdays.
I love birthdays. I just like when I meet someone and they're like, no one's ever really celebrated my birthday, and I'm like, I'm baking you a cake right now, bitch. Like,
we're throwing down.
It's good luck to you as well if you celebrate someone's birthday. Like it's this whole thing in spirituality. Yeah.
It's it comes down to like the if you don't clap for other people, no one's gonna clap for you when it's your turn.
And that's why I book shows is quick because like people have given me time on their shows and their stuff, and it's just like I still want to pay that back. I feel like indebted to the craft, to the art, to the room, to still make room for my friends, and not just my friends, but like comics I deeply respect, or people that I want to get closer to and be in their circle or be in their orbit a little bit.
That's I feel like I've been like really welcomed by like Heather has been really welcoming to me, and Cam. Like I honestly can't say enough good things about Cam, like, and the Funny Goat, like him giving me my first booking ever and everything. Like I'm always gonna ride hard for Cam,
Same.
but like it is we're all out there trying to make it, and
but Cam rewards who's like working towards it. He rewards who he sees at the mics and who, and the same with Heather. Heather was like one of the first, like for how short of a time you've been coming to the drop to how like when Heather gave you that chance to like audition and do your 7 minutes, like I felt like that was such a short time. I'm like, wow, Dickie's on this like
I'm on the rocket ramp, ship, yeah.
This ramp upwards, and it's just cool to watch, a comic go from a couple open mics to a club booking, or a couple open mics to your real first paid booking, like in a bar show. Like it's just cool to see, and it's sentimental to me that you said, oh, you were the first to come up to me on my first open mic, because the person who ended up becoming my mentor came up to me at my first open mic and told me like a very similar thing of, you're really good at this, you should come back. Like, and it's those people, I think, that like comedy to me is like a little fire that you kind of got to keep tending, you got to keep it alive, and it's like people like that like really help the fire light for you.
Really bring the wood.
Yeah, they stoke it, they they gas you up, and like it's I recognize that a rising tide raises all the ships, so, and I'm very much in the like I don't know how far up I'm going, but I'm going to try to bring as many people with me that started with me, that put faith in me on the way up there, cuz like it's hard, especially in like businesses like this, cuz it's like dancers, and not like strippers, like dancers like Black Swan and shit.
Okay.
Like they will fucking throw each other downstairs, to and that's that's not really the vibe like here, but it's like when I found out like that I was gonna get my tryout and everything, I talked to a couple people and I could tell they were like, you got a tryout already? Like, and I don't want to be a dick talking like an asshole, but I'm funny.
Yeah. And that, like, club owners can see that. Club owners can tell, or people that are bookers, you kind of know what's good. I'd say there are people that surprised me, even that like started out quite bad at this and have like increased their talent and are now bookable.
Yeah.
But there are certain people like you that join the scene and you're like, oh, I see where that fits. I see where your comedy's journey is sort of headed. And it's like, to me, it was when you did that Ralphie May voice. I just love that shit. I'm just like, it's like Ralphie May's in the room with me. Like, it's just, like,
I do a lot of voices, and I've been trying to figure out like tonight I'm gonna try to keep the mic in the stand so I can gesture more and like do more out here and like do my voices. But I do a pretty mean Kermit the Frog. I do a pretty mean Pee Wee Herman. He's one of my like you know uh one of my biggest inspirations in comedy is Paul Rubens and Pee Wee Herman. Like the
interesting. So who's your Mount Rushmore? Who's your 4?
Well, if it's the ones that had the most impact on me, it would be Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
He's on there because I had an old videotape that one Saturday I saw in the TV guide that they were going to run a show on HBO called G-String Divas. And so I decided I should record the movie and the comedy special before that, along with that, so it's like buried in the tape. So I've got, it's 1999, like type shit. It was that or Victoria's Secret again, and that wasn't cutting it anymore. So I actually like stayed up and watched the special, Killing Him Softly, and it was like the premiere of that special, and that was like I really liked. Hi, my phone ran out of storage, so we're gonna try to pick this up as best we can. My Mount Rushmore, Dave Chappelle, his Killing Him Softly special was very influential on me. Robin Williams. I remember watching his specials on we had a Betamax. Like I am sold that we had a Betamax tape player when I was young. So we had that we got from the library on Betamax. I don't want to be silly and say Casey Rocket. Because I love him so much, but he wasn't like super influential on me. He's just in there. Definitely. Sam Talent is on mine.
Yeah.
And specifically because when all that stuff that was happening last year, all the stuff with my ex and everything, one of the first things I did after I got out of the psych ward was I listened to the audiobook for his book Running the Light, and I don't know, that was really what did it. I watching Kill Tony a lot, sure, but also when that hit and I listened to that, I was like, I want to do this. But somebody that's a serious answer that's not Casey Rocket, I would say Bernie Mac. I really, really liked Bernie Mac. I was not a popular kid when I was growing up. I spent a lot of time watching TV shows growing up, and I loved the Bernie Mac show and the original Kings of Comedy, and he was hilarious and gone far too soon. But that's that's what happens to the funny ones. But
only the funny die young. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So the older you get, the more you're like,
damn, Rodney Dangerfield. No respect.
If you don't already know, comedians have a lower life expectancy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my comedy Mount Rushmore, and I hate that he's on there, but I loved his earlier specials, New Kid in Town, Salt and Pepper Diner. I was a really big Mulaney fan, Don Mulaney.
Okay,
I think he's just so Chicagoan and silly, and he's very he has all these how he sees the world. It's all observational humor, but he's not like super dirty. I know I'm a dirty comedian, but like I just love how he sees the world and how he makes like the funny, not funny things funnier. So he'd be on there. I don't like him since he had that whole shit happen with his ex-wife, and I was really like invested in that, and like I'm just like kind of a hater now. But that shit, John Mulaney, yeah, definitely inspired my style. As far as my writing, my favorite writer, comedy-wise, is Mitch Hedberg.
Oh yeah, good shout.
2005. Yeah, just to me, the most eloquent, quickest writer. All his stuff was just like one-liners, and like, I just love one-liner comedy. If you can just do that all night and make the crowd just love you by the end of it. That's how his sets would go. You would like see the crowd be like, "Who is this guy?" And then by the end, they're all like waiting for the punch. Just winning them over in that way. So I miss, I'm sad I wasn't aware of comedy when Mitch Hedberg was still around. Because when I learned about him after he died.
Yeah, I mean, you were like 4.
Yeah. 9. Yeah.
2, 4, 9. Because I remember him in like the first season of that 70s show. Okay. He was around for a couple episodes. He worked at the diner they all went to.
Oh, shit.
He talked a bunch of shit to Hyde, and now it's like, Hyde was a scumbag, so good.
That's awesome.
So you got...
So it'd be, Hedberg.
Mulaney.
I will go just because he's, maybe one of the greats. Lenny Bruce went to Supreme Court for our right to do comedy. So comedy is protected First Amendment speech. So someone had to go to, like, because we used to be so censored. So our rights as comedians are formed by Lenny Bruce, just going to court for us, basically. And like, he's on there. And then number 4, that's tough. I mean, I love Carlin, and I love Taylor Tomlinson as like putting a woman up there. It's just like she had a style. I watched her special, one of them about being a child in a church, and it was just it was so similar to my life that I was like, I gotta talk about my shit. She's like, you don't ever watch a comic that makes you like that? Like, I gotta talk my shit. All right, she opened the door.
Yeah, and she is like, I'm not one of those chicks aren't funny dudes, like, at all. Like, I'm very girl coded, so like I love her stuff. That was when I started getting back into comedy a couple years ago. It was, she was one of the first people I saw that I was like, ooh, this is good. Do you have anything you want to plug that's coming up? Shows?
So doing shows at Anderson's Winery this summer. Those dates will be posted on my Instagram and stuff like that, on my Facebook. I'm Chelsea Snedden once again. And my Instagram is Devine Timing Comedy. But thank you, Dickie, for having me.
Of course.
Always great to hang out with you.
Jeremy, you have anything you want to plug?
My Instagrams are Teethworms with a Z and Fairy Ghouls spelled stupid. FAERIEGHOULS. That's it. That's all I got.
And I've, as usual, been a big fat dick. You can find me on YouTube, Dick Foster Comedy. You can find me on Facebook, Dickie Foster. You can find me on TikTok as BuddhaMan1086. And same with Instagram, BuddhaMan1086. This has been the first episode of Dickin' Around. We've been dicking around. We're gonna go dick around on stage. So, love you. Have a good night.